So what we have today is Surviving Savannah by Patti Callahan. So this is a historical fiction and this is an instant favorite, so it goes to my best read for this year. I did not read much, so I think it was only around eight books, so it's not much, but I consider this as my best read for the year. So this is at the top one. So I love this book. So also reading this book, it reminds me of several books. First is Nicholas Sparks' novels. So his books, he mentioned the setting is um, South Carolina. So I'm not exactly familiar with geography. I've never been in America, but his books are set in South Carolina. Meanwhile, this book is set in North Carolina. Another one that this book reminds me is another fantasy book, which has a lot of ships, titled Live Ship Traders by um, Live Ship Traders by Robin Hub. So the character there is named Wintrow. Meanwhile, in this book, we follow Everly Winthrop. So Everly Winthrop, she lives in the present day. So she is curating or working in. So Everly Winthrop, she works in the museum. No, she isn't working yet. So she has a friend named Oliver who convinced her to go back to the museum to work for this one project, which is the Pulaski. So it's a steamship that sunk in 1938. So Everly Winthrop will work on the Pulaski steamship, and she will bring it back to life in the museum. The other timeline will follow the story of Lily and Augusta. So these two female characters are living in the past in 1938, and we follow what happened in the Pulaski before and after it sink. Um, the 1838 timeline, it is for me, it is more interesting than the present day, and I think I would want a novel where I am gone in 1838, um, in just 1838 and nothing in the modern time. So it reminds me of when a story start and we follow this old person, and then that old person will detail the story of the past, and as she tells her story, we are moved to the past and then go back to the present. So in this style, we follow Everly Winthrop. So she's working for the museum. She's studying the Pulaski ship, and importantly, the passengers who rode the ship: Lily, Augusta, and their family. So that's the story. One thing I love about this novel is the prose. So um, I am immediately drawn to it, and I love it. So the book that I read before this is Sisters Under the Rising Sun. So it is also a historical fiction. So, but for me, it is okay. That book is okay. But when I pick this and I read the prose, I love the style, the writing, the execution for this the presentation for this novel. So I love the prose. It makes me feel like I am living with the characters. So there are just the right amount of details to build the world around it. So with Sisters Under the Sun, it has a lot of dialogue, but this one it sets up the tone, the mood with its paragraphs. Um, so number one, I love the prose, and yeah. So another thing that so we follow the surviving Savannah. We follow Lily and Augusta on the journey on the ship. So it is a tragedy, and the tone of that arc is sad, and we see a lot in a tragedy. So a lot of people die. And the present day we follow um, Everly, and in the present day her best friend died. So the author, Patti Callahan, she's trying to merge the two stories together, and in a way, she was able to do it. Um, so as she was going through her project, the lessons that she is learning along the way, she is trying to apply in her own life because she just lost her best friend. And in the past, we have a tragedy where a lot of people die. So she's trying to get philosophical with her presentation. But again, it does not sound preachy at all. I am immersed inside the story. So um, they dub this as the Titanic of the South. So um, yeah. One thing so for my criticism. So after um, so when our main characters survived the sinking of the ship, and when they lost their family members, and when so many people died in that ship, we follow the after effects of that sinking. So and um, so we followed the after effects of that sinking, but after a while, the story for me it starts to go down, so it lost its peak. But again, this is my instant favorite for the year, so it's 10 out of 10. But once the story of the sinking is done, there are more chapters to cover, and it feels a little anticlimactic, and especially toward the end. So I don't like how the romance is inserted in this novel. So I do read romance, but um, I don't want to spoil anything, so I don't want to say any spoiler. But so Everly, she has a best friend, and her best friend die, and there was this other character where he was connected to both of them. So and that becomes the romance, and it takes away the spotlight from our past characters to this romance storyline. So I don't like how how this story unfold, and we also have a tragedy in the present day. So she could have moved on its own with because she learned from the past. But again, that's just my two criticisms. So it starts um to go down after the sinking of the ship, and that romance storyline is a bit off. So the novel would have been better if they weren't exerted. So again, I read romance novels and a lot of historical fiction I read has a romance plotline, but for this romance, I don't really approve how I don't like how they are told. Um, what else? So again, in 1838, we have Lily and Augusta. So they rode this steamship Pulaski. So it's supposed to be for one night only. But along the way, one of the one of the engineers, he made a mistake when he poured water is it's one of its engine, and the engine exploded, which caused the sinking of the ship. So as it sunk, we've seen people die, and people that we've been following from the start of the story die. But we know those two main characters, Lily and Augusta. I'm not going to say anything, but they they are the focus of the story and the relationship. So another one is um, one of the survivor of the Pulaski. He was able to he survived the sinking, and later on in life he made another ship, and he used this ship to trade slaves. So Everly, our present character, also presented those two storylines. So I think it's just worth mentioning. I don't read. I usually skip acknowledgement, but for this book, I read the acknowledgement, and it's touching how the process, um, the author's process in writing this book, especially when um, anyway, just go finish, just read the acknowledgement in this book. So again, 10 out of 10. I love the right mixture of uh, description and main plotline. Um, that's it. Surviving Savannah by Patti Callahan.